All right, welcome class to Real Estate Practice. We have a guest speaker today. Her name is Laura Key. Um, she will be speaking to you about her real estate practice, who she is, why she became a realtor, and we'll even share some war stories. All right, so please put your mics on mute. Save your questions till the end, and let's get started. Laura, please take it away.
Thank you very much. And thank you so much for having me tonight. I really enjoy talking to people about this profession and how I got into it and the fun things that we get, as well as some things that you may not know. I have been in real estate since 2006. I got in right before the crash started in the market. And so I had quite a bit of adventures. I started my career in Denver, Colorado. So my first license was literally a Colorado license. And there we are considered associate brokers. In California, you can be a broker or a real estate salesperson. I do have my classes for my broker here in California, but I choose not to do that just because of the extra expenses. And we'll actually talk about that a little bit too. Why on earth would someone want to get into real estate? Realtors are a dime a dozen. You hear it all the time. Wherever you go, you hear there, we have a ton of realtors down here. We have a ton of realtors down here. And wherever you go, you hear that there's an implosion of realtors and real estate agents in the area. Well, the reason I got into real estate is I started my career in corporate world pretty early. I was a very young mother. I had my son at the age of 16. And I decided that, I wanted to make sure we had a good life. So the minute that I graduated high school, I went straight into college and earned a word processing degree. Now, of course, both of you probably have no idea what that is. But it's basically a fancy word at the time for creating and helping documents and keeping an office running. So basically, it's a fancy term for office manager or office person. So I was a fancy secretary. And I learned on this new thing called Wang, the Wang computer. And the thing was massive, and it was like a brick. You couldn't lift it up, you couldn't move it. It's not like our laptops. I graduated from there and went straight into the corporate world. I worked for big corporations such as Nabisco. I worked for small companies such as a company called McCoy and Associates in Denver. So I have a very extensive background in large corporations and small corporations, but here is what was the common theme in the corporate world. I have lost 5 jobs in the corporate world, not because of me. There wasn't anything wrong with me. I got glowing reviews. I got raises. I got bonuses. I got this. I got that. Of course, I had to stay within the confounds of what the corporation wanted me to do. But downsizing, budget cuts, and then my last situation, the owner's wife decided she wanted to come back to the company and she wanted her best friend to have my job. I have lost jobs because of that. And each and every time it chipped away at me. And the fact that I know that I didn't do anything wrong and had to start all over again. When I grew up, there was a thing called a gold watch. You would go into a job, you would stay at that job for 30, 40, 50 years, and then they'd give you a gold watch and then a retirement fund, and you would have a big retirement party, and you'd live happily ever after, right? In your retirement years. That is not how it works anymore. Our world does not work that way. We are definitely in a serious divide. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to work a 9-to-5 job, a corporate job. There's nothing wrong for that at all. But for me, I wanted more. I wanted to know that the work that I put into a company was going to be recognized and celebrated. I wanted to be on the upper level of that, and I never could get there because I was always the last person on the totem pole, which that means you work the hardest, but you're the first to be let go. So at the time in 2006, I lost my job. I had had enough, and I was 30, 35. And I was like, I don't want to start this over again. I just can't. And at the time, my father-in-law, who was in real estate and is extremely well known in New York City as a very prominent um, real estate property manager, stepped in and said, "You ready?" And I said, "You ready for what?" And he said, "You ready for real estate?" And I said, I can't do that. What are you talking about? I don't know how to sell. I've never sold anything. I can't do this. Isn't that a glorified car salesman? I don't know what I'm doing. And my father-in-law said, "You have the personality, you have the brains, and you have the drive. Give it a try." So after a week of thinking about that, I enrolled in real estate class. It was a month-long class. And I immediately started my career right after. Now, one thing I do want you to realize is when you are studying for your real estate test, you are literally just studying to pass the test. You need to know what those test questions are. You need to make sure you make a certain, amount of percentage so you can pass, and oh yeah, pass the test. I got this, right? Then you get out here with that brand new license and you find out that everything that you have learned studying for that test actually doesn't really mean too much, because your real education starts when you get out here and you are actually pounding the pavement. So what I'm going to do with you this evening is I'm going to talk about a couple of things that I went through uh, and what I'm doing now, things that worked, things that didn't work, companies. And then toward the end, we'll talk about a little bit about marketing yourself. Because let's face it, you are now your own business. Now, in California, you are required to work under a company, under a brokerage for a certain amount of time before you can go out on your own. So you cannot just get fresh out of school and pass your test and say, "I'm going to open my own brokerage." It doesn't work that way. You have to hang your hat there for at least 2 years before you do so. You want someone looking over your shoulder, and you want someone who's going to help guide you in the right direction, because no two deals are ever alike. I have been at this since 2006. Every single deal that I have done, I have learned something new. And that's what's exciting about real estate. It's not the same thing. It's not a cookie cutter job. And it is what you make it. So regardless of what you do, when you get out, you choose your company, your education starts once you get your feet in the actual pool. Now, when you are looking for a brokerage, you don't want to just choose the first one that you find. You want to find one that has a fabulous managing broker, one that will answer the questions and help guide you through your first initial deals, as well as your veteran season deals, in case you have any questions. I just spoke to my managing broker today about a deal that was going awry, and it was the first time I'd ever had something happen, and he helped me to get clarity. So if I was out on my own as a broker, I wouldn't be able to have that knowledge unless I got in with someone else, or had a special mastermind group, or things of that nature. So you want to take into consideration, when you get out of school, and you've got that license, where are you going to go? And a few things that you definitely want to do is to understand that you're not going in to interview to be a part of the company. You are going into that interview to interview them. Just as much as they want you want to have a partnership with your brokerage. And some of the toughest questions you need to ask is not about commission, because everybody thinks because they see the millionaire real estate agent on TV that we're all balling out here. No, your real estate license can take you to a world that you have never imagined. You don't have to just deal in million dollar properties. You don't have to sell and buy. You can be a property manager. You could work in commercial. You can take your license to different areas. Matter of fact, I have a good friend who got into real estate, got her license, absolutely hated it, but loved the paperwork and decided to become a transaction broker for companies where she goes in, a TC. She comes in and looks at all the papers and makes sure that things are right for us. So the possibilities of real estate are really quite endless on what you could do with your broker, your license. My why, I didn't want to go to a corporate anymore and lose my job anymore. I wanted to control my own destiny and to help people along the way. Because in my business and my business model, people come first. And the joy of owning a home, I get to be a part of that. I now am a part of their story. And we develop great relationships. I've been to birthday parties. I've been to bar mitzvahs. I've been to weddings. I've been baby showers. And it's all because of what I do. This is a people business that has a large benefit to connections with others and making a great earning for yourself. So let's get back to the brokerages and on some of the things that I want you to remember. When you're going in to interview these brokerages, you're going to ask certain things like, do you have floor time at this office? Do you have lead generation that I may be able to participate in to get my first leads? Because when you are in real estate, nobody's handing you deals. You are out here hustling and grinding to find your business. And you can start with your family and friends, but I'm here to tell you, your family and friends are usually the last people who will come and use you. And it can be very frustrating when you get your license and you think you can depend on your family and friend to use you. Well, a lot of the times they think, well, you haven't been in it long enough, or oh, I don't want my personal business to be in your business. I don't want you to know all these things. So that's usually the last pool of business that you're going to get. So that means you have to develop new friendships and relationships and connections to build your business. Now, as I stated earlier, when you are interviewing a brokerage, you definitely want to talk about the managing broker. When you are sitting down and talking to that person, ask them, will you be mentoring me? Is there something, someone else in the middle that will be mentoring me? Who helps me with the initial paperwork? Who do I call when I have the tough questions and it's the weekend? Do we have weekly meetings? Do we have training? Training. I cannot say it enough. Training is one of the major things you want to ask of a brokerage that you are interviewing, because you're going to need education on how to read a contract, how to explain a contract to clients, and how to keep yourself out of hot water and to protect your license, as well as protect your clients and their money. Now, off the top of my head, I want to tell you, when I work with a client, I see their money as my money. Would I want to risk certain things If I don't, then would my client want to risk it? Those are tough conversations that you have to have when you sit down and interview clients as well. So now that you have your brokerage and you have asked the question, and now you're fresh with your brand new business cards and your business suit, which by the way, you don't have to wear in real estate if you don't want to. You represent yourself the best way possible. If you don't like three-piece suits, you ain't gotta wear one. You just need to be you and transparent, because if you are you, the people who want to work with you, they will gradually come to you. I know a tattooed biker. His name is Mike. He's been in the business for 10 years. He looks like a character from the Sons of Anarchy. He is one of the most successful real estate agents that I know. And his clientele comes from biker clubs and people like that, because they can identify with him and they want to work with him. So you need to be genuine in what you do in your real estate business. Don't try to be something that you are not. People can read right through it. And I am driving my own self crazy with this background noise. So let me go in here and turn that noise off. I'm trying to find that real quick. Let's see here. Let me do that real quick because it's driving me nuts. Where did it go? Where did it go? Sorry, guys. I think I turned it off that time. I'm just going to shut that all down. That's another thing. You know, you want to be able to concentrate in your business. So where are you going to work? We're in COVID-19 right now. We're in the Delta variant. We've got other variants coming and threatening and knocking on our door. How is it going to affect your business? Are you going to be working from home? Is there a place for you to work at the office? When COVID hit us, our offices all closed, and we were working at home. And this is when we started with the Zoom recordings and things of that nature. Well, I'm happy to say that I had already seen things like this coming in, and I had already incorporated these types of things into my business. 3-4 years before all this happened, I was doing this already. I was consulting with clients via Zoom, FaceTime. I created a course for clients. I saw this coming. And so when it hit, I was well prepared. But there were a lot of agents and a lot of offices that didn't, and they had to kind of learn on the fly. So I was able to take my knowledge to help other people as well get back to business as at hand, even though it was different method of business. So you want to also try to think ahead when you are building your business and asking the questions of where am I going to work? Can you work at home? Do you have a room to yourself? Can you concentrate? Are you one of these people who want to get up and go to the kitchen every 5 minutes, you know, and not really concentrate on the work at hand? Or are you an excellent person who can sit down and time block to build your business and really stick to that? These are things that you want to think about as you're going and opening your real estate business. Because even though you're hanging your hat at a brokerage, the truth of the matter is, it is you that is building this business. It's all about you and the relationships that you build with people. Now, I say that in truth, but you don't want to be all about yourself in front of people all the time. You want to give them the opportunity to know you as a person and to know, like, and trust you. If someone can know, like, and trust you, they're about 95% already in on giving you your business. So how do you do that? You give value to people. You become the valuable resource. But you also need to understand that when you are the valuable resource, there has to be a cutoff so that you can still build your business and then also give free advice, but not so much where you're not making any money in return. So real estate is a really good balancing act, because it's not traditional. Typically, you're going to be working with people in the evenings and the weekends. And as you heard Professor Kim say, how did your holiday weekend go? But bam, what holiday weekend? Because a lot of the times you are working the holidays, because that's when people are free. And that's when they have the time to see properties. So real estate is a different beast within itself, but it's one that you can structure that works around you and yourself. If you have young ones at home and you know they take a nap between 1 and 2, and you can do something between 1 and 2, you can do that. If you're a stay-at-home mom and you've gotten everything done and the kids are down for sleep, you can work your real estate business around that time and be dedicated. I know a guy who is a police officer who only works his business on the weekends, and he's very successful because during the week he's on his beat. So this is a very open and wide career that you're building here, a very viable one, and one where you also have to fight a little bit against what people perceive of us as agents. I like to tell people this little thing, and it's a saying that goes in business as well as your personal life. People's perception of you is not always your reality. So you cannot have a thin skin in this business. What people think of you is not necessarily what or who you are. And if it is, you have the opportunity to grow outside of that, right? So that's something I want you to take into your professional world. Now, another thing I want to talk to you about is learning, constantly learning something. When you get your license, you've already passed it, you've taken your hours of tests, but it doesn't stop there. Every time you have that license in place, you have to continue education to learn new things that are out there. Contracts change every year. The contract is not always the same. So you need to make sure that you're getting the education out there. You're following your ethics in your business practices. You are learning new technology. You're exploring new things that are happening in real estate, because there's always something new popping up. Now, everybody thinks that it's a hot market now. It is. It is a hot market. I'm hopping, I'm jumping, I'm busy. But guess what? You're going to have up and you're going to have down. So let's talk about the down a little bit, because that's what happened to me when I got into real estate in 2006. I was in Colorado. The market started to crash. Every other house in neighborhoods were going up for sale with foreclosure signs at the top. Okay. I didn't know what to expect. There were seasoned brokers and agents in the office telling me, oh, don't worry about it. This won't be very long. Don't worry, you don't need to learn what a short sale is. You don't need to know what a foreclosure is. And guess what? I made it a point to learn what those things were. And I'm glad that I did, because those agents and brokers that told me not to bother learning it were out of the business within 6 to 12 months because they refused to change. You have to be a chameleon. You have to learn to adapt in this business. And just as much as it is a hot business right now, you're going to need to see what it's like to work in a business that is down. There's always going to be a buyer's market at a point, a seller's market at a point, and the little thing right in the middle before it tips. And when you're right there at that tips, you need to see which way you're going in order to learn the market and adapt and be the expert in the market. People are looking to you for your expertise. So make it a point to read something every day about what's going on in the market, learn new trends, and get your face out there. It's really important that you be able to be the resource that people need It's just as simple as that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some things that I've seen out here. I like to always share some of these things with you because they're funny, and there are some that are kind of scary at the same time. But um, when you are a realtor, you have to wear many hats. Okay, you have to wear the business hat, you have to wear the people person hat, you have to wear the counselor hat. And my very first time of putting that on was with a married couple. So we're taking this married couple and their daughter out, and we're looking at properties. Now, this is when in Denver, it's a little different than California. Most people do not ride with you in your car in California, and especially not during COVID. But in Denver, when I first started out, you typically put your clients in the car, and they would meet you at the office. You would put them in the car, you take them to each property, and then you take them back to the office for a consultation. Okay. In California, not so much, because for one, even if it wasn't COVID, you got traffic, right? And people, after they see so many properties, are like, I'm ready to go home, right? So people just pretty much meet you at each property. Well, in this case, I had a family of three. I had a husband, a wife, and a teenage daughter. They were ready. They were pre-approved. I had everything in plan. We start looking at houses. The first house, nah, we don't like this one. We don't like this one, Laura. The second house, it's a possibility. The third one, the husband got googly-eyed. He fell in love with that house, and the wife did not. She hated every bit of that house, and it turned into a fight. They were sitting there in front of me arguing on why he liked the house, why she didn't. You always get your way. No, you always get your way. I can't stand this. I don't want this. Well, I don't want to buy a house. Well, I don't want to be married anymore. It escalated that quick. So I had to put my quick thinking hat on and become a marriage counselor and literally say, you, Jack, go to that room. You, Becky, go to that room. The teenage daughter ran out of the house and was sitting in the driveway crying.
I didn't get that.
I know
Could
you
you try again?
Apple, no, she didn't get that. So what do? These people have to ride together in your car to get back to the office. You clearly see that there is a miscommunication going on, and you're in the middle of it. So you have to put your counselor hat on. So the first thing I did is I went out to speak to the daughter, and I said, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. They do this all the time. They get on my nerves. I was like, are you going to be all right with this today? Because I'm going to de-escalate it. You know, is there something I can do for you? Nah, just see if you can fix it if you can. So I went to the husband next and explained to him that this is a very emotional time. This is a very expensive thing that you are buying. A home is one of the most expensive investments you are ever going to make in your life. It is not something easy to decide on. And that open your eyes up a little bit to how your wife is seeing this, and also be able to express calmly and with pros and cons why you don't want this house. Then once again, I said, you stay here, you breathe. Then I went to the wife and did the same thing. And after about 30 minutes, I brought them together, and I took a piece of paper and wrote pros, cons, wrote them all down for them to see in writing. And in the end of it, they were happy. They said they were sorry. Nah, if she's not happy with this house, I'm not going to be happy with this house either. Let's move on. But you see, I had to wear a different hat. I had to know when to step in, how to step in, and how to de-escalate the situation where we wouldn't have them ready to file for divorce papers. So you are going to see a lot of things out here that you're going to need to learn to handle, because they can be pretty tough. And there are times where people are also going to blame you Well, you didn't show me the houses that I wanted to see. Well, you didn't take me fast enough. You didn't tell me that that was on the market. You didn't tell me that this and that and this and this and this and you and you and you and you and you. And after a while, you're like, who are you talking to? But that's not exactly what you want to say. You want to be firm, but yet professional at all times. And in some cases where people want to continue to say that it's your fault, you literally have to say, well, I'm sorry about that. And if you're willing to continue to work with me, we can do it and sit down and map out a better plan. Or if you would like me to help you find another agent, I'll be happy to do so. You can fire your clients if you need to. And I don't know any corporate job that will allow you to do that. Not everybody works the same way. And if you see that something is going bad, it's better to protect yourself and your business and have a happy person than to sit there and try to work through something that you know isn't going to work and come back and bite you in the tail feather. You definitely want to know when it's time to step away and when it's time to be the superhero. And that's kind of hard to distinguish sometimes. Just today, I had someone call me because I teach first-time homebuyers classes. She attended a first-time homebuyers class with me, and this was about 2 years ago. I tried to help her last year. She couldn't buy. Just wasn't ready. Not a good time for her to buy. Wasn't quite ready for the loan, okay? No, she wanted the house, but you have to have the loan, right? You can't buy a house without money. So she called me today. And she said, I'm ready to go out again and I want to see this, this, and this house. Are you ready? And I had to say, now wait just a minute. What has changed from last year? Do you have a lender letter? Do you have your down payment? Do you have your wants and needs? Or is your husband on board? Things of that nature. You just can't go running to get up and go to show properties without knowing that you're going for a purpose and a reason with a real solid buyer. Or else you're going to run yourself ragged. You're going to put out a lot of money and not earn it back. You don't want to tilt everything in the realm of you paying and not earning. So after the tough conversation with her right before this class, I let her know that I'm sorry, I will not be taking you out. But here's what we're going to do as a game plan. Never just say no. Never just say no. Give them a game plan and hold their hand during the game plan. I gave her what she needs to do first. Her credit is not ready. So I gave her a credit guide to get her started on what to do. I gave her an action plan. And in a week, she can expect a call from me to call and say, hey, did you do A, B, and C today? If not, why? Are you really serious about buying a house or are you just playing? Do we need to wait another year? See, these are the things. You need to be the consultant. You need to be the expert and you need to keep them on track because buying a home can be very emotional. And sometimes people want it so bad, but they're not quite ready. She's not quite ready. But I didn't tell her no. I told her, wait, we're going to see what happens once you put into your plan the actions that I told you to do. And then you're going to have some people, guys, that don't do the actions. No looky with no paper. And I had to learn that the hard way. The things that I'm expressing to you or sharing with you this evening is things that I have had to learn on my own. And one of the things is when you first get into real estate, everybody's going to tell you what you need to buy. You need to buy this lead system. You need to buy this special business card. You need to buy this postcard. You need to buy. Do not sit down with your managing broker, make an action plan on what you do need to pay for and what can wait and what you may want later on, but can add once you start rolling. I highly advise you that every deal that you close, take your taxes out first. You are not a W-9 employee. You are a 1099 employee, and that means you have to pay Uncle Sam. So you need to take at least 25% out of every commission check and put it to the side. Put it in a special savings. Whatever you do, don't touch it. Does somebody have a question? Okay. All right. So back to some real world situations. We were able to get that couple a house. It took me 2 months to help them find a home, but we got it done. And to this day, guys, I've been living in California for over 12 years, right? I sold them that house in 2008. They are still in that home. They still call me and check on me. I call and check on them. Their daughter has been married. I went to her wedding. They have a grandbaby now. I got to go meet the grandbaby. So you see how I'm saying you're developing a relationship with people. You're not just buying and selling. You're not going out here and just saying, here's your keys, bye. Have a good life. No, you really need to continue these relationships with people, because those relationships will also turn into more business. When people know, like, trust, they also refer. And a lot of my business right now, about 85% of my business is referral from
I have a
other
question. I'm
clients.
sorry, Miss Laura.
Yes.
For Habit for Humanity, they did some work over there in other countries.
Mhm.
I think they're doing some work over there in Mali. I don't know if you know that place.
Yes, I'm very familiar with Habitat for Humanity.
Okay. Oh yeah. I guess it's a third world democracy is what they're going through right now. It's in Africa. I don't
Yes.
know. I'm sorry. I just wanted to know the grounds of that in real estate. If you have any input.
Well, they typically have their in-house people help them. And a lot of the times they have city grants that they use, like HUD, Urban Housing, Urban Development. They sell houses, foreclosed homes. They will offer $1 houses to places like Habitat for Humanity for them to fix the house and help give it to someone who deserves that home. But in return of Habitat of Humanity, if you are receiving a house, you also are required to go and help someone else. So it is a situation called pay it forward. And it is a very big thing. And they do it here in the States. As a matter of fact, Habitat for Humanity has done many in Los Angeles. And I had a friend that was very active in that. She would volunteer. And you get a bunch of people together in a day or two, and you go and paint the house, and you decorate the house, and you help build the house. You get your hands dirty, and you're paying it forward for a family or someone who really needs housing. And you do have to go through the process when you're doing that to be qualified to receive that home. So yes, that is another thing. See, like I said, real estate is endless. You can get involved with nonprofit organizations. You can get involved with Habitat. You can get involved with Veterans Affairs. You can get involved with military. You can get involved with homelessness. There's a lot out there that you can do with your license and still earn. So yes, I thank you for bringing that up, because you can be very much a community leader in your area by helping to turn around and help someone else be housed. And we all know in Los Angeles just how bad the homeless situation is. And I actually have gotten on boards where we discuss how we can tackle it, how we can improve it, and also give suggestions that may happen. We actually put out a suggestion about because San Pedro is very big on trying to help and be a hub for the homeless. We talked about taking an old retired ship and docking it in San Pedro and converting it to homeless shelter housing. So there is a lot that you could do in real estate. So thank you for bringing that up, because it really is a great way to give back in your community. And I do have a give back program in my business as well. Anybody who purchases from me, I will donate $100 to $500 to a charity of their choice in their name. So that's something that I do to, you don't have to do that, but I do because it's important to me to give back to the community. And I want to give a sense of giving back with my clients as well, because when I donated in their name. So those are the things that I do in my business. So let's go ahead and move on a little bit on what happens on how you build your business. You got to get out there and be seen. How do you build your business? Where do you start? I've already told you that pretty much friends and family are not your first clients. It's very rare. They want to see how you do first before they offer you the love of the business that you're going to take on. They want to make sure that you're doing well because it is a huge investment. So I'm actually going to share my screen now, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the marketing that I do, and also how to help get you started right now, that you can start thinking about these things so that you can start off quickly in the gate. I didn't start off quickly. I literally did not start off quickly. After they gave me my license, I was like, now what? Right? So I chose my first company, and I'm not endorsing any company because I've had 2 or 3 companies. The company that I work with now is Villa. I love Villa. Our business was built out of the REO business, which is real estate owned, fancy word for foreclosures. Okay, they started their business in 2008-ish. They came out of the Carrington Mortgage. We are now a traditional company, but for a while there, all they were doing was just bank-owned properties. Now, when I started in the business, I went to Keller Williams. Keller Williams was very well known for their education and for their meetings where you could get trained. You went through a 6-week course. Every morning at 9 a.m., you'd show up at the office with your coffee and you had a mentor, and you would go through the processes of selling and buying and learning what you needed to know outside of what you learned in your real estate. So research your company on which one has a lot of education, because the more you know, the quicker you're going to be able to build your business. So I'm going to share my screen now. And when I do that, I may not be able to see any kind of chatting. Let me see if I'm going to just do this one right here. All right, guys. Is everybody seeing my screen? Professor, can you see the screen? Okay, now pretty awesome. All righty, so I've already kind of introduced myself, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the apps, some of the models, some of the programs that you are going to need, and give you a little bit of direction on where you can go. So who am I? I'm Laura Key. I've introduced myself to you, right? But I'm also the Realty Goddess. That is my brand. I have built myself around the Realty Goddess. It's fun. People remember it. They get a chuckle out of it. And do I walk around like I'm a goddess all day? No. There are days that I don't feel like a goddess, but you better bet I am a goddess, because I know how to handle myself and brand myself. So when people see Realty Goddess, they see Laura Key. And when they are looking me up on Google, or they're looking me up any kind of way on Facebook or any social medias, you type my name in, Laura Key, or you type my name in as Realty Goddess, you're going to get a list of just me. I top my name, and that's what you want to do in your business. Brand yourself. Pick your own branding colors. have a logo created for yourself, you will still also be required to list your businesses that you're under. Like I still have to say that I'm with Villa. I still have to show Villa's license. I still have to show Villa's logo in a lot of things, but I also I can have my own because I'm a business within a business. I am also a wife, a mother. I am a singer. I'm a humanitarian. I'm pretty bad to the bone. I hope you're laughing because I know you're all muted. But I'm also an educator. I'm not just educating you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I am educating people about how to buy and sell real estate. I have my own course just for buyers. I have my own course for sellers, and I market those courses. I capture their leads. They see me on video, and this is how I earn business, right? We've already talked about why I started and why I'm in this business in the first place. So let's talk about how, because I didn't know anybody. I don't know if anybody's caught on, but I do have a little bit of a country accent. I don't hear it, but a lot of people hear it. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm a little country girl. I didn't even grow up in the city of Louisville. I grew up in a suburb, a country called Prospect, Kentucky. So I didn't know anyone in Denver. I had no one. We had just moved there. We'd only lived there like a year and a half. I didn't know where to start. I didn't have clients. I didn't really have connections. Where in the heck did I start? Well, I told you that there was this thing called a crash. And when I'm not exaggerating, every other house had a sign in the yard because the market had crashed. People had lost their homes or they had to sell. And there's this little thing called HUD, Housing Urban Development. And within HUD, they have their own properties that were foreclosed upon. And you, anyone with the license, you don't have to be the listing agent that represents the seller, which is HUD in this case. You can be a buyer's agent. You can advertise these homes for free. So here's what happened. When I first started in the business and I didn't have clientele and I was checking out all these homes on the market, how can I tap in? How can I tap in? Well, at the time, HUD only required that the listing agent for them put one photo in the MLS for people to see. And what do you think people put in? The front of the house, right? Well, I'm licensed. I can go and see this house at any time. And HUD told me I can advertise any home that they have out there, whether I'm a listing agent or not. So I took this little thing called a camera, not a camera phone, but a camera, a real camera, one of those little Canons, and it was pink. Put my little card in there. And I made it a point to go out 3 days of the week and go and look at least 4 houses a day. And I would take pictures of this house. I would take note of all the features. I would take note of anything that needed to be fixed. I would take note on what to do. Then the next thing I did is I went and got chubby, hubby, friendship with the HUD office in Denver, Colorado. HUD does things a little differently. They have their own paperwork. It's not the traditional state paperwork. I wanted to know how to fill it out. No one I knew, because didn't I tell you most of the agents were saying, you don't need to know this stuff. Well, nobody was willing to show me. So I went straight to the horse's mouth. I took donuts, I took coffee. I said, hey guys, I want to start selling these things. Can somebody help me? Well, how do I fill this paper out? Can you explain this to me? Oh, by the way, here's some donuts. Did somebody give you some coffee today? Because I brought some coffee for you. And after a while, guys, I mean, literally within a month, they knew my name. They knew how to contact me. They were calling me because if anybody called their office looking for an agent, well, Laura was just in here last week. Hey, you need to call this chick named Laura Key. She can help you. She can take you to go and see the house. And that's how I got my start. So I took those photos, and at the time, Craigslist was a good place to advertise. And not so much today. You still can post on Craigslist, but it's just so many scammers out there. You just may not want to include that in your marketing. But at the time, it was hot. So I went in, and instead of people just seeing that one picture, they saw all the pictures that I made of the front yard, the backyard, the garage, the kitchen, the everything they saw. I created a marketing description. I told them what they needed to do to buy a HUD home in these advertisements. And before I knew it, my phone was ringing off the hook because there was this chick named who was a real estate agent who knew how to work HUD. Now, here's the interesting part. The people who called me for these homes, 99% of the time didn't get that house. Oh, that house, ooh, it was ugly. I didn't like it, Laura. You got any more? Can you show me any more homes? So just because you're advertising a home doesn't mean that's the necessarily home that's the one you're gonna sell, right? So, oh, I need to check something real quick. So just with these few tools, let me stop share. I didn't see the text. Professor, can you hear me now? I'm gonna let you just let me know if you can see me or not, and then I'll go back into sharing.
Well, Mr. Kim.
He may text me. I know I'm like that. We're good friends. Okay, so I am going to still go through my presentation, even though I may not share it all right now. I will have, just by the way, I will, okay, he said I can continue to share. I will have this presentation available so you can reach out to me and I'll share it with you. It is my presentation, but I'll be happy to share it with you so that you can have it in the notes. I'm going to go back into our share screen, okay? Okay. All right, so how did I get started? I started with HUD homes. I started with a camera. I started with Craigslist, and I started with ambition because I wanted to be successful in this business. I didn't want to go back to a 9-to-5 anymore. I can't. I didn't want to lose another job. So I wanted this to work. So I worked nonstop. There were days when I was working 12, 15-hour days when I first started, just so that I can get my business rolling, okay? And out of that, what I told you, people didn't buy that HUD home. Maybe the HUD home was too expensive, or maybe the HUD home wasn't in good shape, or maybe they didn't like the neighborhood. But Laura, I still want to buy. Can you help me? Yeah, now you're mine. Come here, little ones, you are now mine, right? So that's how I built my business. Another part of doing this is partnering with other people. I made it a point to go and find a really good lender and invite them to coffee, pick their brain, develop a relationship with them. And before you knew it, I had a lender by the name of Laney. And you should always have at least 3 guys. Never just refer one person. That can come back and bite you. When people are asking you for referrals, try to always give them 3. Okay, always try to give them 3. Awesome, will do. So you want to make sure that you have good resources. So I went out, and Lainey and I worked very closely together. What happened? Lainey gave me free resources. Lainey gave me things that she provided from her office so that I can provide to other people. My communication with people now has enlarged because I know what to discuss with you about. Are you, do you have your loan? What is your income? What type of loans do you want? What are you interested in? And if I could pick their brains a little bit in the beginning, I could help guide them to the right lender and the right type of loan for them, right? So yes, I'm a realtor, but I also got to know a little bit about how you gonna pay for this house. And that means making sure that you have a really good relationship with a lender and a title rep and an escrow officer and an insurance agent. You want to create an awesome team of people that you can refer, a cleaner, a moving company, a solar panel person. I have an arsenal behind me. Laura Key, the Realty Goddess, has an army behind her that can help the client who is just learning what this means, who doesn't know real estate like we do. You don't buy a house every year unless you're, your job moves you or you're an investor. So, you're not buying a house every year and sometimes not even every 5 years. So, and real estate changes so much, you need someone that is going to help guide you through the steps. So I have a team behind me, but it took me a while to build it, but it's very easy to build one. And you just get on the phone. Hi, I'm Laura Key. I'm a real estate agent. I work this area of Los Angeles, and sometimes my clients ask me, well, Laura, do you know an insurance agent? Because I've never really had to deal with them and I don't drive and I don't have rental insurance. I don't know who to call. Yes, I need to know someone like you who can help me help my clients. Bam. And you are offering each other a service. You're not always the one who's giving or taking. You're also giving back to that person as well. Here's what I mean. Let me give you an example. I recently created a series that talks about estate planning. I have an estate attorney. He was building his business. He's smart. He's building. He wanted to get his name out there. And I found him on LinkedIn. He had a wonderful article. And I called him and I said, hey, you got a real estate agent? No, I don't. I really don't. And I'm trying to get connections, but agents don't tend to call me back. So I'm surprised that you're even calling me. Be that person. Be that person to reach out and ask them, do you have a real estate agent in your pocket? Do you have a real estate agent that you collaborate with? Guess what we did, guys? We created a 6-part series. I created a 6-part series of video of us interviewing one another, of us talking about what you can do to build your wealth with your real estate, of how you protect yourself, how you do an estate planning, how do you have a will, I didn't tell you you had to buy and sell with me, now did I? But when you are looking at these resources that I'm offering you, who do you think they're going to think of first? You. Start thinking about these things now on how to build your business. So let's look at the next slide. You have the power in your hand. You ain't got to go out and buy a whole bunch. Remember, I told you from the beginning, do not go out and buy everything that everybody tells you. You already, right now, guys, you pretty much have everything you need. You want to know what? You got this. This is an iPhone. You may have an Android. You may have an iPad. But I can make professional videos on this thing. I can answer leads on this thing. I can create QC codes where people come to me on this thing. So you don't need a whole lot to get started. Your phone is your first place to start, protected at all costs. So you just need a phone, computer. You don't even really need a camera, because this iPhone camera, people cannot tell the difference between professional photos that I've created, because there are some homes you don't want to do professional photos like the REOs, but they can't tell that it's not a professional photo because I took the time to learn how to do it on my phone, and the pictures look great. Learn a couple of apps, get Lightroom, get Photoshop on your phone. You can do it. So you don't need a lot, and you have all the power in your hands to build your business. We talked about interviewing companies, but there's a couple of other things that I want to remind you on what you need to ask them. Ask them what they provide for you to be successful. Do they have a database for you that you have your own website? If you don't, you need to have one or pay for one on the side. And guess what, guys? You ain't even really got to have it. Yes, Laura said ain't. You ain't even got to have a CRM. If you have a good spreadsheet to get you started, Excel is critical. Just have it in place. Ask them, do they offer graphics and flyers and postcards? Ask them, do they have a home searching website that ties directly back to you? Do they have a website for you? Yes, my company has all of that for me. I bought a domain and I have my domain on my company business. So it says Laura Key. So it comes back to me. So some of these things you're going to ask what they provide for you when you're interviewing a company. Why do you have to plan your path? Why don't I just get in and fly by the seat of your pants? Here's why. I told you I started at Keller Williams. When I first started at Keller Williams and I was with the freshman class, there were 16 of us in the first trainings. Within the first 3 months, there were 12. Within the next month, there were 8. Within 6 months, it was only myself and one other gentleman who decided to stay in real estate. People think that when you get into real estate, you're going to earn millions of dollars and you're going to earn it quick. That's not the truth, guys. You work your butt off. You are shaking your tail feather in a different way. You do not get paid until you close a deal. Do not count your chicks before they hatch. So what does that mean? You're already paying for your marketing. You may be paying for your domain. So you see why we tied back into that other slide? What does your company offer to you? And do they charge you a fee? The big companies like Remax, Century 21, those charge you a monthly fee to be an agent in your office. And it could be pretty high. So that's one of the questions that you want to ask. What are you, well, I may be paying you, but what you giving me, right? Now, my company that I'm with now, we are 100% company most of the time. For newer companies, it might be a smaller split, but they provide so much for me that I really don't need to buy much else outside of my business. And another thing is, you know, you want to make sure that you're representing them well. You want to go hand in hand. So I only pay, I'm gonna be honest, I only pay $25 a month to be in my company. But for what they give back to me, what I've paid before in other companies, nah, I'll stick with where I am because that was the best place for me and my budget in my business. So you don't have to buy everything that people tell you you need to buy. In fact, you have a lot of free tools, like I said, and a lot of them will be offered by your brokerage. But one thing you definitely want to know, learn, and do, social media marketing. You can't not put your face out there and expect to earn a lot of business. And guess what? You don't necessarily have to put this face on it. If you create a brand, you can create your brand anyway. Maybe it's a logo that you're putting out there. People know my face because I do a lot of video. Okay, I go live a lot. I do a lot of things. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, which I'm still trying to learn. I'm trying to learn Reels, you know, things like that. But I incorporate those into my business because, see, each platform offers you a different dynamic into your clientele. Your older generation tends to like Facebook. Your millennials tend to like Instagram. The younger generation, and believe me, the younger generation has gotten smart, guys. I have 3 clients that are 22 years old right now looking for their first home. I got them from a TikTok, a YouTube video. And the thing is, you don't have to do something every day over and over and over. You can take that one video that you create for Facebook and post everywhere else and create lead generations with those. So that's free. That's free unless you're paying for advertising, and the advertising can be fairly cheap. Okay. So start with your business budget and grow as your business grows. Simple as that. Be your own assistant in the beginning. I had secretarial skills. I had design skills. So I created my own flyers when I first started. I didn't have to pay nobody to do that. Okay, so what? If maybe you don't know how, guess what? Get with somebody else in the office and be like, I'm an expert at TikTok. I can help you with TikTok. I don't know how to create a flyer. Can you help me with a flyer? And you barter with one another. Okay, you exchange your expertise with others so that you can get what you need. I helped an agent at one of my companies build a whole website. To this day, we're excellent friends. She refers me a lot of people. Even though she's an agent, she still refers me a lot of people because now we are in different states. She's still in Denver. She refers me business to California and vice versa. I do the same with her. So you see, it's really important to establish relationships, not only with people who are buying and selling, but with other agents and other people within the real estate communities to help build your business. Just like I told you, I got an attorney that I can go to when people are saying, uh-oh, I don't know how, I don't have a will and I'm ready to buy a house. What do I do? Yeah, call Cedric. You see, that's how you need to build things from the very beginning. Here's a list of free resources that you can use to build your business. I'm not necessarily going to go through all of them. Please feel free to screenshot, or else also, like I said, I will provide this to you. You can email me and I will provide it to you at the end of this course. So you can do free newsletters. You can start posting on Facebook. Side note, do not post business all the time on your Facebook personal account. Facebook will shut you down. You need to build a business page. It's free. Here, use the 90-10 rule. 90% of your social media posts on your personal pages need to be about you, what you're doing, fun stuff. 10% can be about business. People don't want to get it beat into their head that you are a real estate agent. Yes, we know you're a real estate agent. Please don't be sickening with it. I'm sick of reading real estate. Next thing you know, they're not even following you. But if you put 9 posts up about fun stuff or about yourself or pictures of your family or what you normally post on social media, and then you put that one about real estate, that puts something in the back of their brain. Ah, Lala's a real estate agent. That's right. That's my nickname, guys. So that's why people, a lot of people who now, my family and stuff, they call me Lala. So yeah, Lala's a real estate agent. Let's give her a call, right? So those are the things that you want to remember. Don't beat people upside the head with you being an agent. You can subtly do it very easily. Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. Yes, Snapchat is still alive and well, people. People think it's gone to sleep. It is not. People follow me still on Snapchat. And all I do is the fun filters on there, right? I don't use it all the time, but I go in and use the fun filters. Live streaming platforms. You want to do LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter. Clubhouse is a new one. If you don't like video, you can do audio. Start going into Clubhouse and start going into some real estate rooms and following them. Breakthrough Broker is a great website. Lighter Side of Real Estate will help you learn what you can post and help give you free resources to post. And all of this, also NAR, National Association of Realtors website, CAR, California Association of Real Estate. They offer all this stuff, guys. You ain't got to sit back and be like, oh, what am I going to post today? I don't know what to post. I've already talked about everything. Oh my God. Just go to your free resources and post them. Read up on them and post them and be ready for when people call to ask you questions. These are all free. Here are some things that are low cost that you can do. You can use Canva. Canva actually has a free version as well, where you can create your own graphics if you want to, create your own stories with video. Ripple, I love Ripple. It's a video creator that I use for Instagram. When I advertise a lot of my houses, I will use Ripple, put those photos in there and create a video and send it out. And I get a lot of leads that way. Agent Crate, Lighter side of real estate paid plan, PhotoGrid, InShot, iMovie, Zoom, like we're talking right now, everything is being recorded. You see, that's how Cedric, the attorney that I work with, we did our interviews on Zoom. We privately recorded them and then we posted them. We put them on our Instagram, we put them on our Facebook, we put them on Twitter, we put them everywhere.
You
Yeah.
have your own real estate agency. Are you, like, I guess they took it off that third, it's not third party, but where it's, I forgot the name, I should have mentioned it, but I wanted to ask you a few questions too. I have already like a bunch of notes here.
Yes,
You work with HUD Housing, and what I remember in LA, at the, I guess they called it something, Section 8, it was a building, and like it's for family now in Orange County, and HUD would be for like singles, no kids, or bachelors, maybe college students. I think is
Mhm.
the difference. I don't know. It's
Yeah, yes, let me, this is a really great point, and thank you for bringing it up. HUD is a government agency, right? And in real estate, you are not allowed to discriminate. And part of the things of not discriminatory is familiar status, so family status. So you can't, you're gonna see this mistake a lot of times and they can get in trouble. If someone is advertising, this will be great for a growing family, you can't say that. You need to be able to advertise to everyone. This house is great with great potential for growth. You know, close to parks, you know, things like that. You can say that, but you can't say like, up and coming family or a retired or a single person. You're not allowed to do that. But yes, HUD is its own agency into itself. They do work with some programs. Like I said, they will sell dollar houses to like Habitat for Humanity. And yes, Orange County has some great programs as well that they work with. And then actually it's buy foreclosures from some companies and they buy them in bulk.
also too, you said you worked for Nabisco.
I did.
I'm not sure if that was the family one or where you worked hard and it just, sorry, I was just
No, it wasn't Nabisco. It was a tiny company in Colorado that I lost my last job.
Oh wow, because we have a Nabisco here. It's a factory. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, like where people go in, but it was up and then it just got shadowed. It's weird. I was trying to see if it's gonna go up again for like factory, because we have the bread company, we have Sunkist Juice, and then the Nook and Cranny muffins.
Yes. Well, Nabisco's going through some things right now for sure. I know that. But that brings me to another point. You see how you know that information about Nabisco?
I drive by it, but like if yours is a family business and you work for a family over there in Colorado, or because you're from Colorado or you're from Denver, or in Denver, would that be yours, like your building?
I'm sorry, I'm misunderstanding the question.
Like if you needed like whoever from I guess ground up, would it be considered yours in inheritance? I mean, because you did mention we should interview them to see if anything's out of place, but like if you own like a school kind of sort of thing, or if you own a building. I know that you said, oh, I don't want to because you decided to go the other way. But I mean, if you're, is that yours? I mean, what if you were putting it right now? Like, how would you like in real estate? Like,
I'm really sorry. I'm just so
oh,
lost right
I'm
now.
sorry. It's that local, 660 or the union thing. Never mind. You don't have to. Never mind.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure exactly where you're going with that. Because I'm not sure if you're asking me if I own the building or if I own a company.
Yeah, like foreclosure versus a house. You do the commercial, you know, we need. it would be sort of like a business. But
Why don't you email me at the end? Because I really don't understand where exactly what you're asking. I'm trying to get to the meat of what you're asking so that I get answer, but I'm not understanding how that's tying into real estate.
oh, just property owning, land. I'm barely getting into the land part where we have to measure, and then there's something about, I don't know if it's escrow mortgage or appraising. What are those three?
Okay, those are all separate jobs. Okay, I think I can answer that one easily. Those are all separate jobs, okay? So if you own a property, you can will it to someone else. That's part of title. Title is a separate company. Title actually goes with the history and the transfer of property, who it belongs to, where did it belong to, who owned it, who owns it now, things of that. That's a title. That's a different part of real estate. Okay. Two, lender does the lending. They're the ones with the money. They're the money people. An appraiser appraises a property and the value that it's worth. That is a separate part of real estate. So I remember when I began this whole thing, I said, you can take your license any direction that you want to. You know, I know many realtors that went into title and went into escrow, but they have their real estate license and they can do that. Okay. So all of that are different things than what I do as buying and selling agent or even commercial agent, but we still all work under the same umbrella of real estate. Make sense?
Yeah, I was just thinking about how we like we mail our family letters back in our homeland, like country, and what we want them to do, because they would say that the roof is falling apart, or you know, with welfare, everything that they need, you know, clothes, food, shelter, all that stuff, and that I forgot the word for it. Mr. Kim had said something about it starts with a D, but it is with the transfer, like it kind of is at a standstill, like who gets the house, but not really. I'm not trying to do that, but I guess,
That's a totally different thing.
oh yeah.
So that would be a different conversation that you're more than welcome to email me about, and I'll be happy to dig into it with you a little bit
Okay.
more. Mhm.
I'll give it to Mr. Kim or something if I can't get your email. Thank you.
Okay, it'll be at the end of this, and I'll also tell you how to reach me.
Okay, Nabisco and Country. Thank you.
Mhm. So those are your resources. Now, here are some things that I want you to remember. Video really is king, guys, or else we wouldn't have TikTok, or else we wouldn't have Reels, or else we wouldn't have YouTube if video is not king. People will sit there and watch videos all day long. They'll be standing in the grocery store watching videos. They'll be sitting in their car and losing time. I call it going down the rabbit hole. So you really should try to incorporate video into your platform and your business. It doesn't mean that you have to put your face out there. You can even get animations to do things, or put together slides like this and create a movie out of it for people to learn. Video is king, so do not be afraid of it. But when you do that, I need you to get over yourself. Do not worry about if a hair is out of place. Do not worry if you have a pimple on your face. Do not worry. I mean, you got to get over yourself. People don't care about that. So just get them the information in their hands. It's not about you. It's about the information, and for them to know and remember that you are the one that offered that information to them. So once you have closed your real estate deal, after you've earned their business and you've closed it, your job doesn't end. You want to still continue to stay in contact with people. And one thing that I do is I send a monthly newsletter to all of my previous clients, and I put a video in there for them. Hey, it's September, it's fall. Here's the time where you need to change your batteries in your fire detector. Here is, you need to clean out your vents and prepare for winter. You need to have this, and this. Is your earthquake thing up to date? These are all things that I send out to my clients so that they know that I am their resource and I am a source of valuable information for them. So when you are broadcasting and you're putting out these videos, here's a list of places that you can do that. I'm not going to go through everyone because we actually just talked about them. But of course, everything that is extremely popular right now is TikTok and Reels. It is known that you can post a post on Instagram and only have 5 likes. But if you put a video up there, you'll have quite a few more viewers. I just looked at my account before we got on. There is one video of me just dancing and me getting home from showing houses, and then I did one like I'm done and now I'm going to just relax. Wah! It had like 600 views. Okay, so people are watching, so just make sure that you incorporate that into your business. Here's a couple of things that you'll need to get started. Your phone. You know, I have a green screen in my room. This actually is a green screen behind me, but this is actually my living room. And I did this because I took a picture and had it and put it in as a background because the lighting changes and you want to make sure you do that. So we're not going to get too deep into the broadcasting techniques, but just take note that these are some of the things that you may want to have in your arsenal when you're ready to get out here and start your business. Now, earlier we talked about partnership and education and how to help one another. You want to get in contact with at least 3 lenders. You want to work real close with a title company that can help give you free resources. You want to work really close with an escrow company, estate planners, financial advisors, contractors. And when I say contractors, I don't just mean like they're building a room, they're fixing your electric. You know, when I say contractors, I mean maids, maid service, dog walkers, all solar power people, everything that people will need to get comfortable in their home. Maybe they need a dog walker during the day, have one available for them. Give them a list of resources on how to turn on their water when they move into their home. How do you re-register to vote with your new address? Where do you go to get your license updated? I give these things to my clients, and I work very closely with all of my people. This is my team that we can get things out. Hey, Laura, I need to change somebody on my title. I just got divorced and I don't want her name on my title. Oh, hold on, let me go to lawyer's title. I'll give you her resource, because they're coming to me because they know that I have the list of people that they need. Okay, so start building and start thinking about these things for your business. Now, I'm going to end here before we get to questions and answers. And then I'm going to tell you a fun little story because Halloween is next month. And I want to tell you about a very fun and scary story. So here are 2 books that I highly suggest that you start reading right now. And trust me, I have read so many books until I'm blue in my face. And some of them are just not worth reading. But some of them are so fabulous that you're going to read them over and over and over. And these are 2 of them. One of them is Ninja Selling. It teaches you how to be the resource and the #1 person for people to go to. It doesn't cost much. Now, here on Amazon, this is the Amazon price, $20.95, but you also can get it on Kindle for like $10. Okay, so make sure you put these 2 books in there. The other one is The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. He is the owner of Keller Williams. But everything that he has in this book is good advice on how to start and get your business running quickly. And it is a great read. Both of these books are worn and torn in my house. Not only do I have them in hardback and softback, I have them on all of my electronics. I have them on my iPad, I have them on my computer, and I have them on my phone, because these are wonderful resources to get you started in your business. And finally, this is how you can reach me. So please feel free to take a snapshot. And then especially if you want a copy of this presentation, you can email me at laurakey.com. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put that into the chat so that you can reach me. But you can go to my website, which is laurakey.net, not .com, .net. And you can find all of my contact information there, including my email. Now, this is my Facebook page. And I am going to take note here to let you know that I had to rebuild my business page because I was massively hacked last week. Even though I had protection put in place, someone did hack into my system and I had to kind of start all over. So I took a lot of my videos and I have them reposting on my new page. So this is my new Facebook page. You can reach me on Instagram. You can look at my videos on YouTube. And of course, you can just Google me. If you Google me, you're going to find me. Okay. So that's where you can find me. So I'm going to stop the share. And I'm going to tell you a couple of stories about real estate and some of the things that I've actually been through. And I tell this story all the time. And this is one of the most popular stories that I tell because I always do it around Halloween. And when I do it every year. And I also put a link on, don't want to buy a haunted house, give me a call. I use it as a lead generation story. So in Colorado, there was this beautiful family that was ready to buy a home. And we had gone through the whole process. I was taking them out. We were looking at homes. And on this particular day, the mom and the baby didn't come out. It was just the husband and I who were looking at homes. And once again, foreclosures were hot. So we went to go look at this one house located in Inglewood, Colorado. And we go there and the house looks great on the outside. Of course, there's weeds because nobody's living there. It was a foreclosure. We go inside. It needs some work. Yeah, it needs some work. It needs some things like that. We're pointing out things. Yeah. Now in Colorado, we have basements. We don't have basements in California, right? So we were going through and he's like, yeah, kind of feeling it, kind of like this one. I think my wife might like this one. Let's go down to the basement. Okay, go down to the basement. So we're walking down the basement and we're talking and we're looking and things. And I, as an agent, I go through and I turn on lights before they get in there so that they're not stumbling or tripping over anything. I go first. I'm the guinea pig. If anybody's gonna fall, I'm gonna fall first, right? So I go to reach into the laundry room and something stops me. Notice I said something. I could not get my hand through the door, even though the door was open. And I started getting this really weird feeling like, am I crazy? Did that just happen? So I tried to walk through the door and I could not walk through the door. It was like something was pushing me back. And I thought it was just me. And so the guy is looking and he's like, I don't know, Laura. Upstairs looks good. I don't know. What room are you standing in front of? I said, I think this is the laundry room and I don't think that the light works. And he goes, okay, well, I'll check it out. He goes over to the door. He stands in front of the door. Then he looks at me and said, no, I don't think so. Let's go. I don't think this is a good house. And I was like, wow, upstairs, he was like, really digging this house, right? Like, and I'm taking mental notes because what do you like? What don't you like? You have to keep these things in your head to help your clients. And so we get in the car to go to the next one and he's really quiet. And I said, hey, you stopped talking. What's going on? You okay? You need to stop and get something to eat. We need to stop and get something to drink. He said, nah, I want to ask you a question, but I don't want you to think that I'm crazy. And I said, okay, what is it? He said, was there something in that house? And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, I couldn't go through that. And we both said, laundry room door at the same time. So whatever was in that house, whether you believe in ghosts or not, I have a house story where I felt that there was something in the house. That's not my first house that I felt that, but it was very interesting that my client also felt it too. So ending on that note and a fun story, there are many adventures that you're going to have out here in the real estate world. You're going to make great friends. You're going to learn something new every day. You're going to be frustrated sometimes. there are some days you're actually going to want to throw your hands up and say, I don't want to do this anymore. And then there are some days when you're handing keys to a wonderful couple or a person who's been wanting to own a home for a very long time, and you are the one who helped them do it, and you handed them their keys. There is nothing more exciting to me than to be able to help someone reach their dream. So that is what I have for you tonight. I hope I didn't bore you too much. We only have a few more minutes. I'm on the East Coast tonight, so it's pretty late over here. It's like 11:30, but I'm going to open it up for any questions that you have. And then I'm going to put my email in the chat. So please go into the chat. And if you want a copy of this presentation, or you want to use me as a resource, or you want to ask me some real estate questions now or later, please feel free. 6 months from now, you might say, I need to ask Laura something. Ask me. That's what I'm here for. This is how I pay it forward. So I'm now going to open it up to questions. And I'm going to ask you, we're going to keep recording, that Professor Kim is going to have a 15-minute break. And then when you come back, hold on. Log back in afterwards, and Big Blue Conference. And during the question and answer, it's good. Oh, he's gonna call me. Hold on, guys. I think I got it all confused.
Sorry, Laura. See, what happened was my computer, I could see you, I could hear everyone, but I can't get to the unmute button. My screen is weird. Something, I think the computer crashed. And if I completely end the task, then this meeting's over, and then we can't get back on, because then it's gonna download the recording. So what I need you to do is tell them that we are gonna have to still record, because we can't get back into a private meeting without recording for the Q&A. And then once that Q&A is over and everyone's done, you could log off and take a 15-minute break and come back to Canvas and log into the Big Blue button, because our class goes till like 10. I wish I could say it to the class, but yeah.
It's so weird. I hear you in both spots, but I'll say that.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you. Yeah.
All right, so just after we're gonna record the conference here at the Q&A, because for whatever reason my computer just froze, and if I end it, the meeting's over, we can't get back on, because then it's gonna start downloading the recording. Laura, can they hear me? Can I get a
I hear
thumbs
you
up if
fine.
hear it? All right,
I hear you.
all right. So once that's done, log into Canvas after 15 minutes, and I'll have the link for that Big Blue button will continue. Sorry about the technical situation.
Oh, it happens. You see, you got to go with the flow. The same thing in real estate. You just go with the flow, everybody. That, don't let anything get to you where it gets you so frustrated that you can't get yourself together. We're good. Does anybody have any questions for me? Did I put everybody to sleep?
I guess I have one quick question.
Sure, Kevin.
Well, first off, thank you for showing us your presentation and discussing like that. I really appreciated it. The first one was, how long did it really take you when you first got into it and you signed under a broker to get your first deal?
A year.
A year, okay.
And the reason is because I didn't really know anyone very well. And of course, when I got my first clients, I was nurturing them. And nurturing them by educating them, taking the time to let them get pre-approved, because sometimes people don't get pre-approved with their loan quickly. A lot of them were new buyers, and so they had to do certain things in order to get approved. And then also, because of the crash, a lot of people had lost their jobs too. So, the pool of buyers wasn't that big. But believe it or not, guess what my first deal was? It wasn't a buyer. It was a listing in my own neighborhood because I knew I needed listings as well. So what I did is I lived in an established neighborhood, not an older neighborhood, but an established neighborhood. They didn't have a neighborhood watch. So I headed up a newsletter every month, and I had my little name, I was a real estate agent on the back, but I didn't harp on real estate in the whole thing. Just let them know who put it out. Walked around my neighborhood every month with a newsletter and telling them about, the crime in the area, if there was any, and giving them good resources. And that's where I got my first, my deal was a first listing.
Thank you.
Mhm. So have your money. Okay. Oh, this brings up a really great point, Kevin. Guys, when you first get into real estate, you may still have to work a 9 to 5 and use this as your side hustle until you can get your business going and pay for your dues and pay for your office expenses. But you need to, if you have to work, set aside that time blocking in the evening where you go at it. If it's just an hour every evening of doing something to build your business, it's okay to still work another job until you're able to let go of that job.
Thanks.
Any other questions? So I wasn't big pimping at first. I wasn't feeling much like a goddess at the beginning, but I kept at it until I did. No other questions? Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. Professor, I think we're gonna go ahead and log off.
Okay. If you could hear me, take your fit. We'll be back 9 o'clock on the Big Blue Conference on your canvas. Please thank Miss Laura Lala Key for her time, especially on the East Coast. I was not aware of that.
I'm a night person, so I'm good.
Yeah. We appreciate it. I can't see the chats at all. I could only, and honestly, I can't even see the people except you, Laura. So I can't see any hands up. So if no one has a question, thank Laura for your time. And
yes, we have people saying thank you in the chat. You're so very welcome, everybody. And I really mean it when I say you can use me as a resource. If you have questions, you can reach out to me, okay?
So I'm gonna hold you to that because I want them to ask questions about how to choose a broker and interview a real estate agent or some sort of real estate professional just to get some idea of what's out there in the field. So
yes,
they will have your email. So
I put it in there 1 or 2 times. So just copy it and I'll check you out later.
all right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll
Thank
see
you
on
for
Big Blue
having me.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.